What's up, everybody? Today is Tuesday, September 25th. My name is Amal, and I am here to do your evening live analysis. We're going to be starting off with some news, some Bitcoin analysis, COT reports, all kinds of fun stuff, guys. I'm going to wait for a few people to hop in, so let's see who we have so far. What's up, Life Size Box? What's going on? All right, let's see if more people join. Sharky says, when moon? I don't know, but you know, at least I can tell you guys that it ain't anytime soon. At least that's what I think. Yeah. How are y'all doing today? It's a beautiful day. I'm here in Texas, actually, so it's a nice warm day, 85 degrees, perfect weather, I think. Tekka Dan, what's up, man? Thank you for joining. I appreciate everyone joining from all the different groups that I'm a part of. I appreciate y'all watching my videos, giving me some feedback. If you found me on TradingView, if you found me on YouTube, Discord, Twitter. I'm trying to be everywhere, guys. I'm also trying to get the name of my fund out, Pegasus Digital Asset Investment. So far, we have about 38 investors. Yeah, so we're trying to do a lot, and I'm also helping co-manage a fund from Australia, which James, one of our other analysts in Cryptosomniac community, started. So I'm also the investment officer there. So yeah, awesome. Got some people watching. I love it, guys. Thank you for the support. Very grateful, for your guys' support. Being in crypto, guys, it's really interesting because when you look to the outside world and you tell people that, hey, I trade, cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin, they're just like, either, first of all, what the hell is that? And two, isn't it a scam? People have no idea still I personally think the revolution that is happening almost, behind their back, essentially, right? It's like when the internet was coming about, right? It kind of just hit people like a, blindside, right? Everyone thought that the internet is a big joke and it's just going to go away. And this is what happens with innovations, right? Truly innovative, disruptive technologies, and they are mocked, mercilessly, and then they are revered, and then they are praised. That's really the cycle that all like revolutionary technologies go through, is mocking, okay, you have my attention, and then oh shit, this is amazing. So I think we're somewhat between the mocking and somewhat of the acknowledgement stage right now. But we're getting there, guys. Crypto is really revolutionary. And I think more and more people will start to pay attention to it, especially when, we start cracking the old all-time highs of Bitcoin. But, I don't really know when exactly that's going to happen because, for now, looking at just the overall market structure, I mean, as you guys know, I'm fairly bearish in the more shorter and medium term. The long term, which is years maybe beyond, definitely bullish. I do not have a doubt in my mind that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies will survive. I don't really know which other ones will survive, but I do have a good idea that some of them, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, will definitely stand through the test of time. So, a little bit of background about me before I get started, guys, is, again, my name's Amal. I'm the head analyst of the Cryptosomniac community. I've been trading in the crypto space since end of 2016, early 2017, and I've been in the equity markets since late 2007. So I was there through the big recession, depression, whatever you want to call it. I essentially started trading in high school. I don't know if you guys know this story from my other videos, but I essentially logged on to my dad's trading account and started making him some money, and then started losing him a lot of money. And then I got caught. And then after that, just because I felt really horribly guilty for losing all that money, I kind of went on this, knowledge absorption of how to trade, how to make money in the markets. And yeah, I try to make it back as much as I can. And then I kind of help pay for, my nights of partying in college. So, and so here I am, right? 10 odd years later, yeah, talking to you guys on cryptocurrencies. So, all right, we got about 35 people watching. This is wonderful. I love it. Let's get right to it, okay, guys? I have some notes that I've taken, so let me go through those first. So first thing that popped up on my newsfeed was the Google ad ban. It looks like it got partially lifted, so they're allowing certain ads. Definitely a good sign, in my opinion. Another piece of news that popped up is the Mt. Gox Trustee has dumped about 28,000 Bitcoin so far, approximately, and about 25,000 Bitcoin Cash. And I think he had somewhere close to like 160 or 180,000. Please don't quote me on that. If someone has the direct figures, please dump it into the chat. Coinbase has also gone through put out a new listing procedure for their exchange. So that'll be really interesting, guys, because remember a few months ago, they had talked about Ethereum Classic. I think it was Ripple and ZRX, Stellar, Cardano, a few other ones I can't remember. But yeah, this is really good news, right? I think this is, setting the groundwork and, essentially prepping the industry for the new bull run, if you will, right? This is kind of what exchanges do, is when they realize that, okay, we need to give more investors more opportunities, more fiat on-ramps too, kind of like Kraken has done, or Gemini has done, or Bittrex has done. So that's how you're going to get, new people involved in the space, right? So I've got some COT data pulled up, so I'll go through that in a little bit. 6,000 support, is it getting stronger and resilient, or is it getting weaker? I'll go through that, and then I'll go through the debt cap bounces. So let's go through the TA real quick here, yeah. All right, so 30-minute chart right here, guys. BTC US dollar pairing, Bitfinex index. Somewhere around, I think Saturday, I want to say, I had told you guys that, it looks like after this high that we had at 6,800, we created this lower high, and then we kind of kept spilling down, right? And then we broke down past this mini support level that I had, which was around 6,650. And once we broke down under that, we tried to break through it. But then over here, as you can see, this, sharp candle with a tall wick, that could be seen as a gravestone doji. Gravestone dojis typically reflect that there's a lot of downward sell pressure, and if you subsequently print a bearish candle after that, then you know that your trend is starting to slope over. Okay, so just something to keep in mind for the future, just as a lesson, right? So as you can see, gravestone doji, red candle, red candle, red candle, spill on over right down, broken through the 65, 75 level that I told you guys about. I told you all that this is a level to watch, right? Do you see how over here we tried to break through it, couldn't break through it. Next candle, we printed back up for a mini bounce. Way more sell pressure coming down, dump, dump, dump. Meet a somewhat of a decent support right here around 65.18. Couldn't even, stand there for more than 30 minutes. Broke down again. Went to the next support level, 64.66. Basically just blew right through it, but tried to come back up. Tried to break through it again. Printed a bear flag essentially, and then broke down, trying to meet our stronger support of 63.84. And that's kind of where we are, right? We're traversing between the 64.66 level and the 63.84 level, right? Around this range right here. So, this sideways ranging, guys, this is essentially, to me, a no trade zone, right? Or at least very risky. So, try not to think that, this is the end of the retracement and, I'm going to buy here and try to take the, a long trade up to 6,800 for a retest. That very well may be true, but remember that you could just get faked out, right? You could just move up past this right here a little bit and then just come back down. This is what smart traders, smart whales love to do. Okay, they like to generate liquidity through your money. There's no way that they want to, utilize their money to push the market down. They will essentially trick you, because what they will do is they will push the market up, get people to FOMO, and then start driving this price down. And then this right here is where they start generating liquidity. All these stop losses hit, stop loss, and then it just breaks through this level, right? So if they can't break through it, first time around, they'll just use your liquidity to break it through the second time around. Okay, kind of how markets work, right? Another thing that I wanted to point out is a few days ago, I think I want to say about 7 days ago or 10 days ago, I had pointed out that when we were back here, or actually somewhere around here, I want to say September 17th, I told y'all that $6,800 would be the top, in my opinion. Again, that wasn't just some number that I pulled out of my ass. It was because we had multiple levels of resistance waiting for us there. The Bollinger Bands on the daily, Ichimoku Cloud, 618 retracement, which has been heavily resistive for us, the 100 moving average, and then this sideways, as you can see marked by these golden circles, sideways horizontal and resistance level, right? So we had this as resistance here, resistance, turn support, and now resistance again. Okay, so this is how you find horizontal support and resistance levels, right? Try to find an area where you can put a line sideways and you see it hitting multiple times as resistance, and then if it flips around, does it become support again? Does that same level become support? And then come back to it, a few days, weeks, months later, sometimes, and see if it access resistance again if you're under it. Okay, so that's kind of how you find horizontals. Okay, I told y'all what the ETH short yesterday. If you were part of the Cryptosomniac group, shorted it from 230 to 210, took profits, walked away. Okay, that's kind of what you want to do in this market, guys. You don't want to be holding on to your trades too long. Get in, get out, take your profits, go get some ice cream and have a good time, Let's see. Let me check some questions, guys. I know I'm going through this stuff really fast, so I apologize. Let's see. Federal Reserve may raise interest rates tomorrow and Bitcoin may have a pop-up. Chris Seiden. That's an interesting theory. Hyperwave shows Bitcoin to test 4875. That's really interesting because I actually have my target right around 4,900 and 5,000. And I also state that because one of the August levels that we had, let me pull up my BLX chart. So one of my August levels that I have right here, right? So this box right here is my representation of where I think Bitcoin will fully, end the retrace and bear market and start sloping up, right? So this box, as you can see, is right around 4980 or 5,000, and it goes all the way down to 3,000. So that's kind of my full, ending of the bear market range, okay? What do we do about the problem of white males in crypto? John Smith. I don't know, man. I like all colors alike, so no discrimination here. This is a channel of love. We love all colors. Awesome. Let me check out more questions if we have any. Okay. Your thoughts for Litecoin halving 2019. Chris Iden, I really don't care much for Litecoin. I'm not gonna lie. I honestly don't see the purpose for it anymore. It seemed like basically like a faster sort of testnet for Bitcoin, but I feel like Bitcoin has the first mover advantage. You know what I mean? And it's just more known. The entire crypto space is known because of Bitcoin, right? I mean, no one knows individual cryptocurrencies. If you ask someone, they'll just be like, "Oh yeah, Bitcoin, yeah." So, okay. Anyway, those are my thoughts about Litecoin. Let me go through my BLX chart. So So here's where, essentially my TA and how I see it playing out. Okay. Let's see. So on the weekly, right, guys, we have essentially been price flipping. You see this price flipping right here. You had a 1 on the green, 1 on the red, 1 on the green, 1 on the red. Nowhere over here have you been given a signal where Bitcoin is telling you that, okay, we might be ready for an up thrust or a down thrust, right? It's essentially just uncertainty. That's really all that means when you see price flipping like that. And even on the SAR, the stop and reverse, as you can see, it has given the sell signal. Okay, these blue dots that you'll see, I don't know if this is visible, but let me make it bigger. Please give me a comment if you guys can see my screen properly. I want to make sure that you guys get the best quality of video. Because I can only do so much. But yeah, let me know if this is good quality, guys. Okay, awesome. Thanks, WSR Crypto. But yeah, so guys, we've been essentially price flipping for the last month, right? These are not, good buy or sell signals. This is just an uncertainty period. And remember that I told y'all before that, this is a large descending triangle that's being created, okay? Massive descending triangle. And descending triangles, I think, have like a 65 to 70% upside probability. Okay, so this could have a 65 to 70% breakout to the upside, or this could be a huge trick and it's giving people the false signals that it is going to break up and it's ultimately going to break down. Regardless, speaking of, if you just look at the fundamentals behind crypto, right? If you look at, let's just say, the regulation, the average retail investor, the fraud and the manipulation, the lack of, multitude of exchanges that, may have fiat on-ramps, all kinds of stuff, right? Can you definitively say that in the last, 10 months that we've all been in crypto, have things changed? Well, not really, right? So if things haven't severely changed in the market, why would we get an ETF approval? Why would the market start turning, bullish, right? And the market turning bullish is a whole nother conversation, because first of all, markets don't turn bullish just because things start looking good. Markets turn bullish because bigger institutions and whales have acquired enough of the asset to willingly turn the market. And so, when I think of the average retail investor, I feel like there's too many positive people still sitting in the market. Okay, there are too many people who still believe that, oh, Bitcoin has hit 6,000. 6,000 is the bottom. We've hit it 3 or 4 times, right? Why is 6,000 the bottom? Like, give me an example. I mean, what makes you think 6,000 is the bottom? I was on a chat yesterday in another Discord group, and we were having an awesome conversation with a great bunch of guys, and I was telling them how, just because a level has hit a few times doesn't mean, that level is it. That level is the bottom. If you look at the bounce itself, right? So look at this bounce, right? From 6,000 right here, we moved to 11.7K. And then we moved to 6,400, and then we moved to 10,000. And then we moved down to 5,800, and then we moved to 8.5, right? Then we moved down to 6,100, and then we moved to 74. And now we're going essentially down again, right? So if you look at the bounce every subsequent time, it's essentially weaker and weaker, and it goes down and down. And that's why you have these lower highs being created persistently. And that in turn creates a descending triangle, okay? So in my descending triangle, my target would be anywhere between the $3,000 and $5,000 level, specifically $3,500 to $4,500 levels, okay? Just, again, my thoughts. I could be completely wrong, honestly, guys. But another thing I wanted to point out is this, okay? So let me turn off this SAR, okay? So here we have Bitcoin in the log scale, okay, and we are looking at let's see, all the way back. Let me turn off the TD sequential. By the way, guys, James, our awesome DigiChain Capital president, he actually made a TD sequential indicator that shows the full count to 13. I'm pretty sure the other TD sequential indicators are only till 9. So if you just type in the indicators right here, I think it's, let's see, TDDC 13, see like that, TDDC 13, you will get this indicator that I have that has the full count, okay? Awesome. So anyway, let me get back to what I was talking about, which is the weekly chart right here, okay? So let's look back in 2014, 15, and 16, right? This is an environment that I really like to talk about because this is, when I was in college and I really heard about Bitcoin, when it was basically starting to take off, okay? Okay, so if we look here, right, here's the blue is the 100 moving average. The purple is the 200 moving average, okay? So here, as you can see, once we broke down under the 100 moving average, right? We broke down, let's just say, right around December 2014. We didn't break back above it almost January 2016. So almost, a good year, right? But once we broke down under it, where do we find support? Well, we found support right here, once on the 200 moving average, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and then we also met the trend line here, right? So we found multiple supports right here, and then we started moving up, okay? And then we just kind of took off and never looked back. So let's just say, for example, that we are going to follow the same path, right? If we are following the same path, we are going to look at Bitcoin, potentially break under the 100 moving average, okay? Even if we bounce out the 100 moving average, it currently meets us around $5,100, $5,200 levels, okay? Now, if we're going to break down under, the 200 moving average is currently around the $3,000 level. But again, it takes a decent amount of time for an asset to break down, right? So that may take another few months, let's just say in the middle of 2019. And we can meet that same trend line right here, and we could meet it right around, let's just say $4,800, $4,900 levels, which is what Chris Seiden has mentioned, which is $4,875, something that the hyperwave theory has mentioned. So, guys, TA works, right? If you know what you're doing, however you cut it, you will all come around the same levels. Just don't put your own bias and emotion behind it, and I promise you the chart itself will give you some levels that you and your own peers will agree upon, okay? That's all I do. I have no, I don't have any good to come out of the bear market, being prolonged for, further like months or years ahead. It's not going to do me any better, you know what I mean? Of course, I can, short and make my money, which, I do. But again, it's way more fun when other people make money with you, right? And a lot of people don't really know how to short. A lot of people are actually, painlessly just hoping that, hey, the market picks up and, they can long their Bitcoin or other alts. So, I'm hoping that the market does pick up, right? Whether it's next week, next month, next year. Whenever that may be, I'm really hoping that everyone can get on this joyride and we can enjoy our crypto gains together, So yeah. So anyway, so that is kind of my spiel on what is happening with Bitcoin right now. Another quick thing that I wanted to show you all is this, okay? So this is a chart that I wrote up last week, right? And I wrote something called the story of threes, okay? The story of threes is basically, my dissertation or analysis, whatever you want to call it, of looking at the last 9 months, right? Each of these candles represents a month, okay? 1 month of Bitcoin movements. So if you look from the top of this 20,000 move right here in December, right? Every subsequent candle, right? So the 1, the 2 are essentially closing right above this high of December. And then the 3 candle closes significantly bearish, right? all the way down here around the 69.28 level. And then 1 and 2, again, the next count starts. These both close above the previous 3. And then the third candle again breaks down significantly further, which is June, and it closes at 63.84. Again, this is BitMEX. I just picked one exchange. It shouldn't vary too much from exchange to exchange. Maybe like $50 to $100, maybe. That's really it. And then again, so 1 and 2 again close higher than the previous 3. So now we're looking at the third 3. Okay, so if this theory is right, and we are essentially closing down the third candle below the previous third, right? We need to be closing this monthly, which is in the next 6 days, below 63.84. Okay, and if it closes below 63.84, you have gotten your signal that we are in a significantly macro downtrend. This long arrow is literally telling you that that's it. We are bearish, no question, no doubt about it. Any person trying to tell you that we are not in a bearish market doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. Okay, sorry to be harsh, but that's really the truth. That's all there is to it. Okay, so let me look up some questions if we have some. All right, no questions it seems. Glad you guys like the TDDC 13 indicator. Thank you. Screen quality is excellent. All right. There's no video, no sound, Chris Smith. Guys, are y'all seeing my video? Please let me know. I just want to make sure that everyone is able to listen, see, hear. Awesome. What else do we got here? Let's go back to the weekly chart. I want to show you all something else on the weekly chart right here. Let me show you all the weekly RSI. So here's the weekly RSI. Okay. If you guys know and follow me on TradingView, please do follow me on TradingView. Please join our Cryptosomniac community, guys. I'm there 10 to 14 hours a day. I love the community. I've been with them since January. Great bunch of guys, great community. So yeah, so here we are, right? Here's what I'm seeing. Okay, and it doesn't need to be perfect, but this is the parallel channel, descending parallel channel trap that we've essentially been in. Okay. Whoops, that was the wrong thing. And because we have that parallel channel, right? So this is the high of the RSI, right? That was around 11th December 2017. And then we created a lower high, another lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, okay? As you can see, what this is essentially saying, guys, is we are trapped in a descending parallel channel and consistently creating lower highs on the RSI. And until we get to those oversold levels on the RSI, which could, at this pace could literally take another, 3 to 6 months, right? And again, I don't mean to be, perma bearish sounding, but I would rather sound bearish to help you guys save money than give you false signals where you FOMO and jump into coins and start losing 10, 20, 30%, right? Because again, the fundamental rule that, traders and investors, the more reputable ones that talk about is, number one rule to trading is preserve your capital, right? Number two rule is grow your capital. Now, if you don't have number one covered, how the hell are you going to cover number two, right? You can't grow your capital if you have none. So if you're sinking your money into crypto right now and you keep getting bled out, stopped out, whatever, you are not setting yourself up for a better future, whether it's trading in crypto or trading, in the equity markets or anything, right? So just try to follow that rule as best you can, okay, guys? Again, please, come check out our community, guys. I put out, trade signals, short term trades, which could last anywhere between, 4 to 6 hours to a day, medium-term trades, which could be anywhere from a week to a month, and long-term trades, which are essentially dollar cost averaging for the future, long-term holds. Okay, there's my little shill of the Cryptosomniac community. Hey, I love the community, guys. I know that they're a great bunch of guys, and you got to get your bread and butter somehow in this space, right? And I'm not shilling anything garbage, right? I'm not telling you to go buy Doge or XRP or something. I'm just telling you that come join the community so I can do my job, my hard work to ensure that you don't lose money and you actually make some money in this market. Again, not investment advice, but it's the best we can do, right? We can all help each other out. So, you said a bearish trend. If like 1 week ago, this is from JF Airplane, we go under the baseline. What do you think the future Coinbase ads? Do you buy them and hold or just trade mostly? So, guys, my outlook for myself and my fund is that we trade about 70%, or sorry, we trade about 10% of our overall holdings, and we are essentially long-term investing with 60 to 70%. The remaining, 10 to 20% that we have, we're trying to hold off for better prices, potential mining opportunities, potential early stage opportunities like pre-ICO, early stage deals, helping teams develop, helping build maybe the next Ethereum. I don't know, but it's always necessary to keep some capital on the side, right? Especially when you're running a fund. So yeah. Doge will outperform XRP. Change my mind. I can't. I honestly can't. Doge is by far one of the best performing cryptocurrencies since like 2014 or 15. I want to say, in terms of, aside from, I want to say Bitcoin or Ethereum, right? It is just resilient. I don't know what people see in that dog, but it does well, guys. And it's a very conducive environment for smart traders and whales. They know how to push the prices up. They know how to push the prices down. Acquire, push it back up, dump. It's a cycle. Cycle of making money, ebb and flow of the markets, right? So, awesome. What else do we have here? So some projections that I had, right? So let me do something cool. So if you right click right here, guys, on the price scale, you can do an invert, okay? Inverse scale, okay? And this is something that I wanted to show y'all is, so here, let's look at this, right? If you look at this chart, right, on just, completely unbiased point of view, you don't know that it's flipped upside down. What would you say is happening in this chart? Well, you could say that at one point we were going down, quote unquote down, right? And then when we found a bottom, and then we kept on moving up, right? And then once we kept moving up, we kept hitting this level, this imaginary level, whatever that is, 6,000, 5,800. But there's something that's, helping us pretty much gravitate and be pulled to it, right? But remember that we haven't bounced back. Okay, we're not showing any signs of strength to show that we're about to start heading for all-time highs or even 12,000, 15, 18, whatever. We're essentially just moving sideways. Now this could be seen as an accumulation period, but it could also be seen as a period where this entire sideways zone is being weakened. Whoever the buyers are, the demand zone, you want to call it, are getting weakened. And if it's getting weaker and weaker, what's going to happen? Excuse me. If it gets weaker and weaker, this will ultimately break down, right? And so how far will it break down? Well, that's where I stated, right? So the next level we need to watch, at least on this, is 5,500, right? Which would be the bottom of this wick right here that we had around November 2017. Again, these figures could vary from exchange to exchange, so just bear that in mind. And then another, support level that we have is right around this $3,600 area. If you start picking off, moving averages, you might, get around the same levels, right? So that's kind of how, this inverse scale lets you look at a chart with an unbiased point of view, where now you can't inject emotion and bias. You now have to just look strictly at the chart and say, oh shit, well, this is clearly moving up, right? It's moving in this direction. And I see that ultimately this zone might be broken, right? So just, cool little nifty trick. All right. Quite fast as well. WSR price prediction end of the year when create yearly higher high, when all-time high. WSR crypto is asking that. So what I think, guys, is we will ultimately, excuse me, we will ultimately break down past the $6,000 level. And I think the next level we will probably touch is 5,500, right? Because when you absorb the supply that's being dumped on you at this level, and there are no more new buyers left, okay, what are you going to do? Well, you got to dig deeper into deeper, newer, and fresher demand zones, okay? And that might be somewhere down here, right, around the $5,500 level. Because again, traders and investors look at the same TA that everyone else does, okay? They'll essentially just look for the next support level. And the next support level, for the most part, is right around this $5,500 area, right? So just something to keep in mind, guys. My end of year prediction, I would probably say it's under 6,000. I can't definitively give you a number. I don't think that we will hit 3 or 4,000 by the end of the year. I think we'll have a lot of kind of like this sideways movement in the $6,000 and $7,000 level, come down to 5,500 or so, come back up, maybe use 6,000 as resistance, and then start moving down and slowly trickle down. And then just like we had way back here in 2015 and 16, right? We had this kind of like this rounded bottom of accumulation, right? Under the 786 Fibonacci. That's another thing I'll talk about, is how the 786 Fibonacci is so special. Once we break down under the 786 Fibonacci, we spent a good 4 to 5 months under it. This could be seen as your strong accumulation area, and then we kept on moving up, okay, respecting that trend line again, right? So yeah, if you follow TA like that, I mean, there's no doubt in mind that we have to meet the trend line, the 200 moving average, be under the 786 Fibonacci, get a long period of accumulation, definitely under the $5,800 level, potentially 3,500 to 4,500. But that could be a long process, right? Because again, accumulation happens at the cheapest prices, and it happens for a long time, because whales and institutions are far more patient. They have a lot more money to put into the market, okay? And they also want to shake out all the weak hands. They cannot afford to have average novice retail investors dumping their Bitcoin while they're trying to push up, okay? So just something to keep in mind. Again, I talk about all these things on my Cryptosomniac channel, so come check it out. Even if it's a free trial, you can just join, watch my TA, ask me questions. I'm always available. So yeah, awesome, guys. Let's see what else I have. Let me ask, any questions, guys? What do y'all have? What do y'all have for me? One of my members actually asked me about the monthly RSI, so I'll have to take a look at that. Let's see what we got on the monthly RSI. Okay. So this RSI, again, absolutely brutal, right? Still looks like it's trapped under, its own little parallel channel, just like I showed you guys on the weekly. But remember that in 2015, our bottom for the RSI was right around the 48 point level. Okay, so around this area right there. Okay, so that's kind of where we bounced from. So if we were to bounce there, right, it would take us, significantly many more months, right, and then we can meet it somewhere, in the middle of 2019. But at this current level, right, if I were to draw a horizontal line, we found a little bit of a bottom right here, create a lower high, and then now we're trying to break that, bottom created, this low created, okay? This is essentially the year-to-date low of the RSI. And this low also matches, this previous support that was used for a nice bounce up in 2016. Okay, so keep that in mind, that if we break through this, the next level to watch is this 44.52 points. Okay, so yeah, monthly RSI, brutal. Top 3 to 5 indicators: Ichimoku Cloud, TD Sequential, RSI definitely, and sometimes MACD. But if you guys have watched my TA, I am a huge follower of looking at raw price action, right? Being able to look at a clean chart on multiple time frames will ultimately give you the best outlook on what's happening. If you're a trend trader, or if you just simply don't know anything about the market, I mean, any child will tell you that from here the market is going up, from here the market is going down, right? That's sometimes you just want to keep TA basic, guys. Don't make it too complicated. Don't try to insert your own, bias and emotion into it. Just keep it simple, Let's see, what else was I going to talk about? So yeah, monthly chart, guys, not looking too good, but again, as I mentioned earlier, 63.84 is a level to watch, that we should not close under it. If we do, we will essentially be following my story of threes, outline. Let's see if we have any questions, guys. Shoot me some questions if y'all have any. Do you believe we will see a significant drop off in junk altcoins? So, guys, here's a website to check out. Okay, type in coinsignals.trade, right? And here you can actually pull up different trading view charts that may not be available in this trading view right here. I don't know who designed this, but this dude is pretty awesome. So here's the chart that I've drawn, okay, for the market cap. This is actually randomly popped up perfectly. So here's where we are essentially, right? We are at the overall market cap of crypto is somewhere around, the low 200 billions, okay? The next support level, right, for crypto is anywhere between 181.2 billion and 156.8 billion. Okay, that is the range of the support that we've had. And why do I say that? Well, that's because, we had a resistance right here, dropped us all the way down to close to 100 billion, and then we retested that resistance, and then we kept on moving up, okay? So this is, a decent bounce zone to watch. Now, if we break this, I mean, it's going to be all hell breaking loose. You do not even want to test this $100 billion level, because that will essentially mean, crypto prices are, cheap as 2015 and 16, because that's kind of where, we were way back here. Well, I can't tell. But basically, yes, they will essentially be as cheap as the prices, early 2016 and 17. Okay, so definitely do not want to change or test that. Oh yeah, so let me go through my COT data, guys. So trading for the past 10 years, guys, has taught me a few things. To look at more than just TA, right? I should be doing far more to collect a host of knowledge, a wealth of knowledge, to be able to provide to my community. And one thing that I like to do is look at futures, because Bitcoin started futures in 2017, end of 2017. Essentially, since then, we've been falling down. Okay, and if you want to look up why I think that there is some widespread futures manipulation and collusion happening, please check out my video on YouTube on the Cryptosomniac channel. I think it's called Bitcoin Futures. So check that out, and you'll see a good explanation of how the futures work, how the market structure needs to be set up to exploit for futures contracts. Okay. But anyway, you can check out that video on your own time. For now, let's get to the COT data that's most recently available. So last Tuesday or Friday, I think, this is the most recent report. And again, you can go on this website and check it for yourself. Typically, you want to be able to see where the futures are lining up, right? For the contract on the CME side, you can see that the shorts outweigh the longs. So clearly, CME futures traders on Bitcoin are betting that Bitcoin settlement price will be lower than their target price, okay? And then same with CBOE, as you can see, shorts heavily outweigh the longs, clearly, right? And you also want to see the change from the previous report, okay? So clearly 603 more contracts were opened since September 11th, and 524 were also opened since September 11th for the longs. Okay, so yeah, again, if you want to look up, how futures manipulation and collusion. Again, this is my theory, so I'm not saying this is happening. I'm just saying I think this is happening. Okay, if you want to look up my theory, it's on the Cryptosomniac channel, so check it out. I think that about wraps it up, guys. I don't really have anything else to talk about. If y'all have any questions, please shoot them my way on YouTube right here. And what is your take about the debate if BTC is a store of value or P2P digital cash? As I can see, it could be used for both. Leander Chua asked that. So, Leander, I actually think that if you read some of the articles from economists, they actually talk about how before money becomes a form of exchange, it actually first is a store of value, okay? So gold used to be at one point a store of value, right? And then it became a form of exchange of goods, right? And then it became easily transportable through not digital certificates, but paper certificates, right? And then people realized, okay, then we can build paper currency off, the gold sitting in bank reserves. And then, paper currency started becoming essentially a form of exchange. But just historically, if you look back, in the long term, you can see that, whether it was shells, shiny objects, food, etc., wheat, commodities, they would all be a store of value at first, and then you can use them as a form of exchange, okay? So I could see that, Bitcoin for now can be a store of value, and it can definitely replace, gold. But I think it could be far more than that, and I think it could definitely be both, which is store of value and a form of exchange. And I think that's what it's aiming to do, right? Because I think the reason for its creation, the purpose of its creation, was because of the fact that people were tired of bankers, financial institutions abusing the authority that they have, and essentially unleashing their wrath, if you will, on the retail economy. And they really just don't give a shit. I mean, they just want to make their money, make their bottom line, and however much pain it causes to the average consumer, retailer, it doesn't matter to them, right? So they, manipulate the markets. They essentially suppress, the markets however they can, and from that, Bitcoin was born, right? Bitcoin was essentially born out of the 2008-2009 financial crisis. So, XRP on Coinbase. What about news over TA? News doesn't mean shit, guys. News in a bear market does not mean anything. And especially if it's news for an altcoin, it definitely does not mean anything. Remember that Bitcoin right here, this is your king. Every other altcoin bows to the king, okay? If an altcoin is moving in a complete opposite direction of Bitcoin, it is only because Bitcoin is allowing it to move for now. Okay, I don't really know of that many coins that have been moving significantly to the upside as Bitcoin has been moving to the downside for the last 9 months. If you know some, let me know. But again, it doesn't really matter to me. You know, at the end of the day, Bitcoin is still king. It dictates the rest of the market. Okay. Yeah, it was, you know, a good pump, right? JFA airplane. We went from like 30 cents all the way to 80 cents. But I think there was some news that came out also about how some of the founders of Ripple or XRP, whatever you want to call it, started dumping their Ripple onto the market. So that could be seen, you know, as, okay, we are going to essentially pump up the price so we could start dumping on people at a higher price. And so the retailers are absorbing all the price, all the Ripple that's being dumped from the founders. Okay, so yeah, you essentially became liquidity for people who are dumping on you, and now you bought at the high, and now you're probably down 10 to 20%. That's how the average retailer works, guys. To be successful in this market, in any market for that matter, whether you're a trader, investor in the crypto space or equity markets, commodities, you have to be very patient. Okay, you live and thrive in the shadow of smart money. That is how you're going to essentially be successful in this market and not get wiped out. Okay, always trade on the side and the shadow of smart money. And in my opinion, the smart money has just not come here yet. I think they're a long ways away from buying Bitcoin and crypto at these prices. So again, you know, my opinion could be totally wrong. If you feel 6,000 is a bottom, then you should be buying. You know, my strategy is I like to acquire coins and Bitcoin at strong support levels. Okay, so you know 6,000 is definitely a strong support level in my opinion. So you can dollar cost average on the way down, right? So you buy at 6,000 and then 5,000, 4 and 3. So you buy in chunks, right? So this is dollar cost averaging, because you know from the top down, right? As you can see marked by this, we are essentially down 67% or so. Okay, that's a pretty decent, you know, discount, if you will. And if you believe that the value to the upside is significantly higher than what it is right now, then obviously this is a good place to buy, right? There's no harm about it, but that doesn't mean that you dump your entire bank account in it right now. You know, play it smart, play it wise, play it slow, okay? Live in the shadow of smart money. That's the motto of the day. Awesome, guys. I think that's pretty much it. I don't really have anything else. So a few rules to remember. You know, we are still essentially in a macro downtrend. We are, you know, nowhere close to the bottom in my opinion. Descending triangles, yes, you know, they have about a 60 to 70% chance to breaking to the upside. But again, the 30% chance is they break to the downside, right? So just something to keep in mind. So yeah, will you play bullish if that happens? Wait, sorry. Leander Chua asked, descending triangle is not 100% assurance that we will go down, right? What do you think what do you think will happen if we actually break it to the upside with big buyer volume? Where do you think we are heading? Yeah, it could definitely happen, Leander, but you know, again, I haven't seen significant volume, right? I mean, let's check out the volume here. Oh no, this is not a good exchange to watch volume on. Let's see what we got here. On the, let's see what we have on the weekly chart here. How I like Coinbase because I think it's pretty you know, less manipulated or less fraud and price manipulation happens on Coinbase, I would say, than other exchanges. So I like Coinbase. But anyway, look at the volume, right? Big, you know, volume right here into November and December, and then high volume bars sell side pressure on January and beyond, right? And then the volume is essentially declining, right? You can see it just dwindling down. And I think if capitulation is going to happen, you're going to see these size of volume bars way over here into 2019, and that will be capitulation. That might bring you down to your $3,000 or $4,000 levels, and then we might be ready for the next bull run. But yeah, for now, I just don't see it, guys. Okay. Awesome. Well, that about sums it up. Please find me. Please check out our Cryptosomniac community. Let's see. Let me check the daily and see how it closed, guys. Another thing that I wanted to mention real quick before I go is why did I call the $6,800 top? Not to toot my own horn, but guys, I've called the last three tops, which were 8,500, 7,400, and the 6,800. You can go back and revisit my TradingView videos, and you can see that I've mentioned the top as those levels. And it's not because I knew exactly where the top was. It's just because the charts were literally telling me what to look at. I did not put my emotion or bias into it. I just watched the charts, as you all should too, right? So if you look on the 4-hour chart right here, I'm going to turn off the volume here at 200 MA. I'm going to turn on this DC indicator, or TD sequential DC 13 indicator. And as you can see right here, right, why did I call the $6,800 top? Well, we had a 13 printing, right? Typically on the TD sequential. After the 13, I mean, you are more than, definitely going to see some downside. After the 13, we did see downside, climb back up, create a lower high, and then drop back down. And also, as you can see, the top of the cloud was literally right around that $6,800 level. Okay. Now, if we look at the daily chart, I had the 618 Fibonacci level right there around the $6,900 level, right? Pretty close to 6,800. So even if we reached to 6,900, I mean, this entire move still would have been valid and we would have still come down, in my opinion. This blue line right here also represents the descending trend we've essentially been creating since 8,400, and the black line indicates the descending trend we've been creating since February, way back here at the 11.7K top. Okay, so again, both descending lines meeting you somewhere around the same levels, right? And that's essentially something that we followed. Aside from that, we had the Bollinger Bands meeting us around that area. We had the 100 moving average meeting us around that area. Something else meeting us right there, I forget. But, around here we had these two lines. I think it was kind of like this. This Bollinger Band wasn't sloped down this much back here. But you can see the Tenkan line, which is the light blue, was meeting us right around 6,800. And the 100 moving average was right there around 6,800 as well as the bottom of the cloud. Okay, so all those signals essentially giving you, sell signals, right? So, all right, just something that I wanted to mention. Again, please check out more of my videos. I have a ton of YouTube videos on the Cryptosomniac channel. Come join our Moon Lounge, and yeah, we'll chat soon, guys. I hope to see y'all in the Moon Lounge. All right, take care. Have a wonderful day. All right, guys.